What's up? It's your boy Maudy Cuts. You already know we're back with another video, and this is the result right there. I'm about to show you guys, and then I'm gonna get straight to the cut right now. If you guys can, please like, comment, and subscribe. Show love, and it's gonna motivate me to do more videos. But let's get straight to it. So I'm gonna set in my first guideline with the trimmer. Trying to tap it. Try not to tap it too hard so you don't create too much of a harsh guideline. But even if you do, I will show in this video on how to take it out. So setting my first guideline, trying to keep it as neat as possible. And then I follow it up with the trimmer, just clearing out all the hair that's right below that guideline. So we're going to use that's my trimmer, and it is zero gapped. And, just trying to be gentle, try not to be too harsh because it will create a lot of redness, especially with sensitive skin. So this one, I didn't do a raw and uncut video just because I had pulled out my camera last minute and I wasn't too prepared for that. So I just recorded it and then I edited it. I'm going to do a voiceover on this one, as you guys can hear, obviously. So now we're going to follow it up with my Babyliss shaver. And as you can see, I'm not going all the way up to that guideline. I'm keeping about, I want to say just a little bit before that guideline. I'm flicking out. That way we don't go too high up and so that we don't make it harder on ourselves to try to take out that first guideline that we created. So try not to go all the way up. As soon as you get to that guideline, start flicking. If you do end up going up, then you just kind of tap it with the grain, and that should kind of help it with the blend. So I'm just going with the shavers until it's smooth as possible. And this cut is a mid fade. So now I'm going to go with my Babyliss open about finger's length. And then from there, I'm going to close it halfway, and then I'm going to close it all the way. So you see finger's length. So right there, I closed it halfway, and I'm hitting halfway into the guideline. Boom. Then I'm going to close it all the way. Boom, that's closed all the way. And I'm tapping into that bottom guideline that we created with our trimmers. That should soften it up. In most cases, it won't take it out all the way. But don't try not to stress about it. Just follow the process and keep going. So there you go. And now I opened it up one notch. So it's in between half and all the way closed. And I'm just kind of tapping in between, just detailing. So there we go. I'm about to go get my trimmer, and then I'm going to follow it up. And this should take out that bottom guideline. So literally with this one, I'm literally tapping. I'm just going up to that guideline and flicking out right away. Just trying to blend it through. And I'm sorry, I didn't notice till I started editing the video that my shoulder was in the way for this part, and it will get in the way in other sections. But all the gems that I'm giving you guys in the system is going to be here. You guys are going to learn. You guys are going to learn a lot from this video. So now I'm going with my half all the way open, and right there I demonstrated where my half, when I close it halfway and when I close it all the way. So right now it's open, creating another guideline about finger length again. And I'm just flicking up. Try not to dig in too much into the scalp because that is going to it's going to make it harder for you to blend that. So right there, I'm halfway, and I'm flicking in halfway into that guideline. Boom. And then I'm going to close it all the way. As you can see, look, it's closed. Look at my lever. So that's one thing you want to pay attention to is look at the lever whenever I'm not explaining it. So boom, it's all the way closed, and I'm just flicking into it. Try to make sure it blends out. So right there, I'm looking at the fade, and I'm like, okay, we could do some detailing here. So I'm going to go, oh, actually, I didn't do no detailing. So right there, I'm going with my 1.5. Demonstrated right there kind of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of coming off of the parietal ridge, which is the widest part of his head. Just kind of flicking up and just kind of gliding and trying to maintain the shape. So now I'm going to go halfway with my 1.5, and I'm hitting it halfway into that guideline. Then I'm going to follow it up with the 1, because if I close it all the way, if I follow it up with the 1, it's not going to cut anything. It's going to be a repetitive step. So I'm just going to go halfway, and I'm going to go with my 1 open. 1 open, trying to take out the guideline that I created with my 0.5. just to blend it as we go. And I am going to play with the lever here a little bit with the number 1. I'll tell you guys when. So right there, I'm still with the 1 open. Trying to hit it in different angles with my corners. His hair is a little thick. So we do got to do that. So look, right there, I'm just going with my 0.5 open. And I'm just showing you right there that I'm just going to flick into it just to kind of soften it up a bit. And I am using my corners more than anything. Boom. Just going at it. So as you can see, there might be still some darknesses. That's why I close up the lever a little bit. And I'm going to flick up to it. And you can control how much you take off when you have a half guard. Try not to apply too much pressure when you're doing this step. Because here we're detailing. We're trying to blend. So the more pressure you apply, the more you're going to cut. So you're trying to be light with the pressure. Just kind of tapping into it just to kind of make it blend. There you go. You see the blend kind of coming together. So now we're going to work on the guideline that we created with the 1.5, which is the darkness that's up there. So I'm going in with my number 2 open. Oh no, going in with my number 2 halfway. Because if I do my number 2 close, trying to blend up, it's going to be very repetitive because my 1.5 open takes care of that. So that's why I go halfway. Right there, I believe, is when I have the number 2 and I'm just kind of flicking up. Just to kind of blend it up to that. So now I'm going to drop back down to my 1.5 and clean up any darknesses right below it. And that should really take care of that blend right there. And please let me know in the comments if you guys understand the system I'm using. If you guys are still having trouble understanding the system, let me know. And I will do a more detailed video of that with like a whiteboard. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm doing when I'm cutting the hair. So right there, I went in with my 1.5 open, and then I went halfway. And then now I'm going in with my number 1 open just to kind of detail a little bit because it still looks a little bit dark. So in some instances where the hair is thick in certain areas, you got to go in there and kind of detail a little bit more so that it blends all together. And as you can see, it's falling together right there. It's looking pretty gradient for me. Now I'm going to go with the clip over comb. And I have explained this technique in one of my shorts and in my other video. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going up with the comb, trying to maintain the shape, but I'm using my highest guard that I use as a guideline, which was the number 2. I flare out the comb. Any hair as soon as the number 2 stops sticking out, any hair above that, I'm chopping it off. So right here now I'm going with my half guard just to detail a little bit around the temple area. It seems like there was still a little bit of darknesses there. So I just go in there and with my corners just kind of tap into the darknesses. You can lever play and do all that stuff as well. So you can see the fade is coming along. Now we're going to go into the beard. So it's same technique, but now we're fading backwards, you know. So now we're going to go, I went open, then I close it halfway, and then I close it all the way. Now I'm going to go with my number 1. So we're creating the reason I said backwards because we're creating the guideline below and we're fading up, and then we create guideline below and then we're fading up. So I went open with my number 1, then I closed it right there with my half guard, and then till it closed until I blend up to the no guard. And right there I'm with my 1.5. Then I went halfway, blended in, and right here I'm just gonna line up the back of his beard. Notice how I don't go straight down, but I kind of put an angle on there. That way the beard still looks natural, you know. He likes more of a natural look on his beard. He doesn't like too much of regrowth when it grows back. So I try to put a little bit of a curve right there. Now I'm going to put the line under his beard. Usually what I do with this one is I'll use 2 fingers right where the Adam's apple is at. And then from 2 fingers above that, that's where I start lining it up. Since he already had the lineup, he comes every week, I kind of already knew where it was at. And then right there, I'm just getting any stragglers. He's letting his beard grow out a little bit, so I'm just kind of getting any of the hair sticking out just to kind of maintain the shape. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the blade And this is gonna be pretty cool. It's probably one of my favorite parts of doing the haircut is when I line up. Keep in mind he likes more of a natural look, so I'm gonna try to keep it as natural as possible. Just so that when it does grow back, he doesn't have to deal with other new regrowth. So right there, I'm just pulling the skin in the opposite way of of where I'm gonna use the blade. So I'm going down, so I'm gonna pull the skin up, and then I'm just creating the line. Then you want to line up the back of the beard too. Just pull that skin so it doesn't irritate them as much. And then I'm gonna double back on that lineup, go right back to it, get any hairs that I left above. So usually when I do my beard lineups, I tend to visualize kind of where the line's gonna be, and then I go from there. So here I'm gonna get line up the mustache. We don't do too much. Just comb the hairs down, and then right above his lip, that's where you want to line it up. Be gentle, just because that is a sensitive area, and especially if your trimmers are zero gap, you don't want to irritate them too much. So just notice how I just tapped super easy, get any of the hairs, and then there you go. So that's the fade, and I'm going to show the finished product over here. So this was the other side, super crispy. Then we transition to the back, and then we're going to go to the other side. And right now he is letting his hair grow for a slick back, so it's in the process. But there's the fade. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And it's your boy Mauri Cuts.